Yeah, it's go time. Let's do this. It's gonna be freaking awesome. I'm so excited. So what we'll do is we'll give a couple of minutes to everybody to kind of jump on and share this with everybody. Welcome everybody, Nancy, Maria. I'm just gonna. This is gonna be so exciting. Is that Deanne? How are you? Yeah. Marie's in the house. I hope you stay. This is gonna be awesome. So I'm looking at both. Sorry if I'm looking back and forth, back and forth. Thank you guys so much. Yes. Again, we'll take about 5-ish minutes, 10 maybe, get everybody. Hey, awesome. I forgot I sent you this. This is going to be awesome, Deanne. I'm really excited for you to learn this. For those of you who don't know, I am Karsten Shields. If there's any newcomers coming in as we're sharing this with everybody, this is going to be so awesome. So, again, as I'm looking back and forth, I'm actually on Facebook and Periscope at the same time. It's going to be awesome. I have an old phone that I'm using. So, you're brand new. Sweet. Buckle up. This is going to be awesome. So I guess while we're kind of waiting for everybody, let me, I guess, mentally figure out how I'm going to do this while accessing the computer and everything. I want to, figure out different ways to show you guys different links and stuff. We'll kind of figure that out, I guess, as we go. But please keep sharing with as many people as we possibly can. We need at least 20 to 30 people in order for us to be able to do this. Sorry. Darn, I just lost my sneeze. I hate when that happens. So I've been given special permissions from the creator of the body code system and the author of the emotion code book, Dr. Bradley Nelson. He and his team have given me special permissions to discuss and teach the emotion code for 1 hour. And so it's going to be so exciting. For those of you who don't know me, those who are brand new and those newbies coming in as we go, hello everybody. Thank you for jumping on. As you're jumping on, please share this with everybody. We need as many people as we can possibly get. But yeah, for those newcomers and those who don't know me, my name is Karsten Shields. I am a certified emotion code practitioner, and I'm also a practitioner of the body code system. And the way this works, you get to watch it for a little bit. So the way this works is, it's specifically designed. It's a special energy healing technique. The emotion code and the body code. They allow us to look into to the subconscious mind, to the body, and find emotional baggage and other imbalances in our bodies in order for us to correct them. In order to allow the body to heal themselves. This emotional baggage and these other imbalances that are going on in the bodies, they're literal energetic blocks that keep us from growing and also keep us from healing ourselves. The body is a perfect computer. The subconscious mind is a perfect computer. The body's a perfect machine. If you were to sit there and think about that for a while, what all that means, what all that entails, it's absolute truth. Our bodies have the ability to heal themselves, but what happens is when we have specific energies or imbalances, Benjamin, when we have these imbalances in our bodies, they're literal energetic blocks that keep certain systems in our bodies from functioning 100%. And so what we do with these particular modalities, hey guys, how are you? So what we do with these modalities, the emotion code or the body code, is we ask on a spiritual or subconscious level or basis. Yeah, thank you guys so much for inviting. We ask, the body and the subconscious mind, what are the underlying causes for these imbalances? And then with a specific technique that I'm going to teach you guys, we're actually able to locate these imbalances, correct them, release the energies wherever necessary, and then as these blocks are released from the body, we're then allowing the body to heal itself. We're empowering the body to continue to heal itself on a stronger level. And so hopefully you guys can see me okay. I'm trying to get the cameras on an angle so you're not blocked by the sun. But thank you guys so much for sharing. We need to get a few more people on Periscope and Facebook. Obviously with replay viewers, that's going to be great. Hey Penny. Auntie Penny's in the house. With as many people as we can possibly get. Obviously, that's going to be the better. Let's see really quick. So what I want to do is I want to maybe figure out a way I can set you guys down. I say you guys, you're on my devices right now. And I hope and pray that we don't have any disruptions with the connection. Okay, good. So, I'll just wait a couple more minutes for people to jump on, and then we'll really figure this out together. So I'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. We'll just hang out for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, here I am. How is everybody? Yes, please share this with everybody. We need to get as many live viewers as we can possibly get. It's going to make the training go a lot better. And I know that it's morning and a lot of people are preoccupied. They have work and other things. But we want to do the very best that we possibly can. And so, all right, I'll put Facebook here. Gosh, I hope this works. Nope, that didn't work. Then we'll put Periscope right here. Hopefully you guys can still see me. All right, we'll figure this out, I guess. But, all right, we'll do about 2-ish more minutes. And we'll start at 12:10 Mountain Time. And then, every other time zone out there, we'll just start in about 2 more minutes. Can you guys still see me? Yeah. So I'm actually going to discuss in detail, what the magnet's used for, how, because. So the purpose of this training, actually, what I'll do is just have you both side by side. So I'm looking at one spot. There we go. So how do I pick the people? So what I'll do is just kind of explain as I go. Yeah. The purpose of this training is to teach you how the emotion code works. Oh, darn it. Well, if you're able to just listen, Dylan, that'd be great. If not, this is going to be on Facebook for a while, but it's going to be free and awesome. And let me know if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns. Shoot me a Facebook message right on my wall, whatever. In my bio and Periscope, I have my email address, which is karsten.shields@gmail.com. Ask me whatever question you may have. If I don't cover what I want to cover in this particular session, this broadcast, this training, then please let me know, and I'll be able to answer any question you may have on a more personal basis. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. What I wanted to do, we'll do a couple more seconds, I guess. But please keep sharing, you guys. This is going to be freaking awesome. I really, really look forward to this. So, so I'm going to explain some free downloads as well. I'm going to tell you where to go, what things to look at, and places you can go to begin your own emotion code journey, as it were. And I keep jumping back and forth. I'm so sorry. Hey, Addison, how are you? So the way this works, let's jump right in. So before, I guess, anything else, for those who don't know me, my name is Karsten Shields, and I am a certified emotion code practitioner. And I'll explain as we go kind of what the emotion code is, what that actually entails, what it means. But I've been practicing both the emotion code and the body code for about 14 months. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a Mormon, for those who don't know me. And for those who do, they know very well what all that means. And I'm not here to push any religion on anybody. I just express that because a lot of what we learn in this religion, in this church, almost goes completely hand in hand with the way the emotion code and the body code work. And I might, make some references here and there. A little bit of allergies. But I'll maybe explain a little bit as we go. In my 14 months that I've been doing this, I've successfully worked on people who have had these symptoms, and I've treated successfully people with ADD, ADHD, asthma and allergies, back pain, chronic fatigue, depression, fibromyalgia, headaches, hip pain, lack of energy, knee pain, learning disabilities, migraines, neck pain, shoulder pain, sinus issues, vertigo, etc. I mean, the list really could go on, but those are the major issues that I've actually been able to successfully treat and help people get over in the past. And again, my goal for this particular training is to teach every single one of you guys what the 6 major underlying causes for all ailments are. And yeah, if you were to look into Angela, I was able to get her out of, chronic pain in just a matter of sessions, working with her personally. And so, my goal is to teach you guys the cause, the underlying cause for any sickness and or disease. And also teach you guys how to correct these without the use of drugs or, I'm not here to discontinue any doctor visits or, degrade them in any way. Obviously if you need surgery, you need surgery. This is not in any way here to replace anything. It's just an alternate method of working on you and finding out what's going on, what's causing what in the body. And so, so what we're going to do is see, my overall goal as well. Woohoo! Well, Addison, this is going to be here. Yeah. So it will be posted. It'll stay on my Facebook. If you're familiar with Periscope or if you have it, it's also on my Periscope page. I'm eventually going to put this on YouTube as well. I might have to do it on like a private setting. So if you just ask me for the link, I can send you the link to the video, but I'll get it to you if you can't find it yourself. And so I hope and pray that it lasts. My darn battery on my phone for Facebook is not lasting as long as I want it to, and my darn charger isn't the right one, and so it's just slowly starting to drain. But Addison, yes, you will get this. I'll make sure that I send that to you. Worst case scenario, I'll just put it on Facebook, like the YouTube link, after all is said and done, or at least the Periscope link. And so you guys will get this. Sorry, so back into this. That's my overall goal, is to show you guys how this works, how to identify underlying causes for any sickness that you may you guys may have, and how to correct these imbalances in the body without the use of drugs. It's an alternate method of healing and medicine, energy medicine. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys, the process of finding these answers and then, correcting any imbalance you may have. Specifically, emotional baggage. The body code system is kind of complex if you're brand new to it. So what I want to teach you guys is the basics, so that you will, guide you to where you're supposed to go, so that you may know where to go and what to do to resolve these things yourselves, to bless yourselves, bless the lives of your family and your friends. Help veterans get over their PTSD, etc. And so what we'll do is kind of just briefly discuss how this works. The traditional approach is that doctors will focus on symptoms, when in reality we're supposed to be focusing on the underlying causes for the symptoms. Because a symptom, if you think about it, it's the body's way of letting us know that something's going on. If you break your arm, obviously you're going to have a lot of pain if you move it in a specific way. Facebook just stopped. I hope and pray that it comes back. No! Yep, Facebook crashed. So what I'll probably do is just keep uploading this. There weren't a ton of people on Facebook, so what I think I'll do is just keep it going on Periscope, and then see what happens there. So a lot of people will probably have PTSD, and PTSD itself is a symptom. Physical pain in the body is a symptom. It's just like a warning light, or like a check oil or check engine light in your car on your dashboard. The way you resolve that is not by unplugging, the wire that that goes to the light that says check engine or check oil. That doesn't resolve the problem, right? That resolves the symptom. And traditionally, doctors will give you pain medicine to control the symptom of the pain, but doesn't usually address the problem, address the underlying cause for that symptom of pain, if that makes sense. And so what the emotion code and the body code do is we find underlying imbalances that are causing or contributing to these symptoms of pain, fatigue, muscle aches, depression, PTSD, what have you, learning disabilities, the list goes on. But these are all symptoms. And so what we do is we find out what is going on. And so what we're going to do is primarily focus on the emotions that we feel. The very emotions that we feel are energy. Everything is energy if you think about it. If you were to take your hand right here, it looks pretty solid. But, those, with a science background obviously know that it's not solid. We're pretty much 99.99999% empty space, and that 0.000001% of us is actually solid. If you take a microscope or some kind of technology and you look at your hand magnified 1,000,000 times, you're going to see these little floating particles, which are electrons. These electrons are what actually give off a bit of a charge, and they like repulse or what's the word? They, like a magnet, if you take two negative ends of a magnet or two positive, they'll kind of push away from each other. That's what an electron does. You try to push it and it'll push away from you. And so with all these billions and trillions of quadrillions of electrons in all of our cells of our bodies and everything, that charge, that magnetic charge, repel. Thank you guys. Gosh, I'm terrible. So, it's literally repelling, and so that's why you can't put your finger through a wall or put your finger through your hand or, through a book or whatever. When you slam your hand on a book, you make a noise and stuff, you'll feel that repel because that's just due to all the electrons and the repulsive charge. Carrie, how are you? So that's essentially what energy is. It's just the constant movement of these electrons and the charge and the kind of the flowing emotion of that. And we can go for another hour and discuss what energy is and how it works. But that's essentially what I want you guys to think about. We all have our own magnetic field. We have our own energy field. We're doing great. We're doing an energy training. So stay tuned if you're able to, Carrie. It's going to be awesome. So what this is darn it, I just lost my train of thought. So we all have our own magnetic or our energy field, and those with the same religious background or similar religious background, you'll know that that's our spirit. Hey Sandy, how are you? So we all have our spirit. We have an energy field, and there's actually a guy a while ago named Kirlian. I can't remember his first name, but he pretty much created what's called Kirlian photography. Kirlian photography is, if you're not familiar, it's like a new machine or some kind of like special camera that actually takes a picture of your energy field or your spirit. It's quite interesting how it works, but yeah, it extends beyond our physical body. If you were to kind of hold your arms out, if you're holding your arms out, that's about 2 to 3 feet from the center out. And our magnetic field, particularly our magnetic field, extends in about 12 feet in diameter, so that about 6 feet from our center out. If you kind of use that little bit of a radius to find that, that's about how large it is. But our energy field, our spirit, it tends to kind of pop out a little bit more. But it's actually like the mold for our body. And I say the mold because these guys, with Kirlian photography, what they've done is they actually took a leaf, they took grains of wheat, they've taken a lot of things, they've used our fingertips, they've taken photos of these, and they've actually found this little energy field around pretty much any living thing, any and everything living thing. Yes, Kirlian photography. If you guys are to Google that, you'll find a lot of photos of stuff. My favorite one, though, and so is Dr. Bradley Nelson's. Yeah, aura photography is another name for it. What they did is if you slice a leaf in half and then you take a picture, you'll actually see the sliced leaf, but the energy field still goes all the way around what the leaf actually looked like. That's because that's the leaf's spirit. It's the leaf's energy. And what happens is this energy field, they've actually taken this study of salamanders. If you have a little salamander egg and you take a picture, it's the coolest thing, but the electrophotography, whatever you guys want to call it, it's pretty much the same thing, but if you look at it, it actually is a photo of the entire salamander, even though it's just an egg. And so what happens is the egg, the salamander will grow into that mold, if you will. And we all have that same thing. And so when there's an imbalance in that energy field or that spirit, the body's going to give us a symptom. And so if you have appendicitis, obviously stuff's going on with your appendix, you need to get looked into. At that point, you're obviously going to need to get that removed. But with other problems, within the body, as long as you're addressing the symptoms, not addressing the symptoms, addressing the underlying causes of the symptoms, that's where the healing is actually going to take place. And so what I want to do, without further ado, I don't want to spend too much time explaining this. We could kind of go into to the cycle, the cycle of death, pretty much, that the drug companies want to give us, which is, if you have this symptom, take this pill, even though this pill is going to give you another symptom, for which you'll actually need another pill and another pill and another pill until you get back to your original symptom, and it's just a nice cycle of death. Instead of saying, you have a cough because of this, you're saying you have a cough, therefore take this. It's just a different way of addressing things. But what I want to do is jump right in. So, the emotion code. The creator of the body code system, his name is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He is based out of St. George here in Utah. He's also LDS. He's a Mormon. He has created the system. He's the author of the Emotion Code book. And after this, I'll give you guys a couple of links to go to immediately after in order to download this book yourselves. Because this book is life-changing, literally. Again, I've been doing this for about 14 months, just a little over 14 months. And I've been practicing every single day, and I've had nothing but success every single day. And so, I've helped dozens and dozens of people, and have resolved, like I had said, all those other symptoms, fibromyalgia, physical pain, fatigue, depression, etc. All these things. It's incredible the way this works. And so what I want to teach you is the emotion code. The emotion code, like I was saying in the beginning, it's a way for us to find emotional baggage on a subconscious level and release that emotional baggage in order for us to heal ourselves. The body, being the perfect machine that it is, sometimes it'll have blocks. And these blocks, like I was saying, the very emotions that we feel, they're literal energies. That's what kind of segued into me explaining a little bit more about energy. But these energies, the very emotion you feel, the emotion of shame is probably the lowest vibrational energy one can feel. And, charity or pure love is the very highest one can feel. And so if you think about that for a second, if you have a heart full of love, towards yourself, towards other people, towards everyone really, even your enemies, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna have you're gonna have a heart full of absolute perfect love, and second of all, you're gonna be probably one of the healthiest people you'll meet. And if you're not, and you have a heart full of love, then obviously other things are going on. But if you constantly have these these high vibrational energies of hope, faith, charity, love, all these things, that's what's going to allow you to to continue to feel good. But if you have shame and doubt, hatred, and love unreceived kind of things, all these different vibrational energies that actually originate from different organs in our bodies, if you have a lot of these, that's going to cause some problems. It's going to cause you to feel very gross, and these literal energies can actually become trapped in your body somewhere. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples on how that works. But so what we'll do is the way that I find these answers is by asking the body. And now, if you think about the body being a perfect computer, it's actually a lie detector as well, if you were to think about it. It's like a polygraph test. There are certain ways that the body can give a response regarding a lie. If you ask a question and the answer is a lie, either your body will shift its heart rate or one thing or another. But what we can actually do is we can actually test the muscles in our bodies. And so if everybody wants to take a second, if you have the ability, extend your arm out. I know I'm probably too close, but if you were to extend your arm out like that, it's a 3D movie now. You're welcome. Didn't think you're getting this kind of entertainment, did you? So if you extend your arm out like this and you make a loose fist with your arm as it's extended. If you're right-handed, it'd probably be better to do your right. If you're left, do your left. Whatever is strongest, I guess you could say. For me, I'm right-handed, but I'll just show you with my left because it works both ways. this is how we're going to find our answers when we ask these questions. As you extend your arm out, you'll notice you have a little bump right here. Dr. Bradley Nelson likes to call it the speed bump of the body. If you look at that little wrist bone right there, that little bump, what I want you to do is as you extend it out with that loose fist, I want you to take 2 or 3 fingers and I want you to put it just above, I'll just use 2. If you put it just above that bump. As you extend your arm, what I want you to do is I want you to just gently apply some pressure to try and push down your arm. Don't use all your strength. Obviously, you're strong people. That's not what we're here to do. We're testing the finesse, not the force. And so as you gently push down on your arm, what I want you to do is I want you to match the same pressure that you're applying with your fingers. I want you to match that pressure with your arm muscle, and I want you to keep it in a straight line. So as you push down, I want you to just match that pressure, just kind of keep it right here. Okay? And so, yeah, so the speed bump of the body right here is this little bone. Right here, what I want you to do is apply put your fingers on top of the wrist just above those bones. So not below where the wrist bones are, but just above it right here. Yeah, so just right above that speed bump. And so what we're going to do is, as you gently push down, I want you to match your pressure by pushing back up. Don't use a lot of force, and you're going to get super tired, and it's not going to work. But what I want you to do is with that same amount of pressure, so if you can't extend your left arm or your right, if you can't do your left, do your right. If you can't do either or, just sit back and watch and let me know. Hello, my little boy just woke up. He's very handsome. Hi. Yeah, hello. Sorry about that. That's going to happen a couple times, I think. So, Viene, ¿cómo estás? So if you're able, let's go ahead and, with the same amount of pressure, I want you to say your name, or just say that my name is, and then say your name. So my name is Karsten, and by using the same amount of pressure, I'm going to kind of match that force. And so what I want to do is I now want to say my name is Charles. Kind of close, right? But it's not. So as I say my name is Charles, and I apply the same amount of pressure, don't use any more, don't use any less. My name is Charles. As I push down and I try to match that force, I'll feel that it's just weakened. And so hopefully that will work for you guys. If it hasn't, try switching arms, extending it out. What you could do is you could actually kind of have your arm like this, and you can kind of push down on your wrist. If it goes strong, that's a congruent answer. If it goes weak, it's an incongruent answer. And so the purpose for this for that method, it's we call it applied kinesiology or muscle testing. And the reason for this is to test our muscles and ask our body questions and get the answer from our body, because the body, on a subconscious level, it knows everything. And so it knows the underlying causes for these symptoms that you have. And so, for example, I'm trying to think. So we'll just, okay, so whatever. We'll just say that I have a little bit of pain in my neck. I'm trying to think if I actually have any pain. Oh my goodness. So we'll just pretend that I have some pain in my neck. And so what I would do is once I've made a connection, and I'll discuss that in a second, I would just ask, is there an underlying cause for the pain in my neck? And as I push down, I get a good, strong, stiff answer, because my body knows that, yes, there's an underlying cause for it. It's not just there. Pain is not a normal thing. People might say, oh, it's normal pain, or, you grow so used to the pain that it's not very bad pain, but all pain is bad. It's a symptom. And so what we'll do is, using particular methods of testing, I'm gonna teach you guys right now. It'll kind of lead up to how we're gonna find these answers that our body's trying to give us. And so what we'll do is I'm going to teach you a couple of different methods of muscle testing, because once again, the body being that perfect computer that it knows, being that perfect machine, it knows everything that's going on with us. And so these are ways we're going to actually get answers from our bodies. The particular method that I like to use is called the ring and ring method. It's when I make 2 links in a chain and I gently pull. And so everybody do this with me if you're able to. Don't make a full ring or like circle. I'm going to teach you how I do it, and maybe it'll be easier for you to do a different way. Because people will just say make 2 rings and pull. And if it's strong, it means yes. If it's weak, it means no. That didn't help me. It took me a month because I couldn't figure out what exactly that meant. I was very frustrated with myself. I was very impatient. So what I want to do is I want to teach you how I learned so that it becomes easier for you guys, because the overall goal is for you guys to learn this yourselves, find the information that you need out there, and begin working yourself. Obviously, I'm here to help with whatever, but I want so badly for everybody to learn this themselves so that they can begin healing themselves and begin healing the world one person at a time. So Heather, how are you? So what we'll do, everybody, instead of making a full circle with your fingers, take your thumb and middle fingers, and I want you to make more of a teardrop shape. So everybody do that, and what I want you to do is just gently link them like 2 links in a chain, and make one your strong fingers, and make one hand your tester fingers. I always like my left hand to be my tester fingers because they're weaker. Again, we're not using full force. We're not testing the force of your fingers, and that's what I did the very first time I started doing this, about my first month, and I got so stiff. The muscles in my hands and my wrists were so sore I couldn't do it for a week, and I got even more frustrated. And so what I want you to do is I want you to keep one hand always tight, always closed, and I want you to make the other hand, my left hand for example, the tester fingers, and I want you to make them as loose as you possibly can. And the reason I say that is your body's going to apply a little bit of strength where necessary. You don't have to do it yourself on a conscious level. And so just for the sake of explaining, let's all make our left hand the tester fingers and the right hand our strong fingers, okay? So make teardrops, link them in 2 links in a chain, and the amount of pressure I want you to apply is just enough where you touch them together. That's all I want you to do. What I want you to do is over and over say yes, and as you pull, very, very gently, very slowly, just gently pull as you say yes. Yes is positive, yes is good and strong. As you say yes and you gently, gently pull, you'll feel those muscles just strengthen ever so slightly that they'll keep them together. Obviously, if you keep that and you pull as fast as you can, yeah, the feeling is very, very subtle. Thank you for saying that. Obviously, if you pull as fast as you can, it's gonna come apart. But as you gently, gently pull, you will very, very subtly feel those fingers strengthen. That's all you need. That's all you need. And if you say no, and you do the same amount of force, same amount of pressure, you'll feel them just weaken so that you can pull them apart. And this is the method of muscle testing that I use almost 90%, pretty much 90% of the time. Because this is the one I've grown accustomed to, I've grown very comfortable with. There's a couple more that I'm going to teach you right now, but this is my favorite. It's my go-to. And so if you guys if you just practice 100 times a day, saying yes 50 times and no 50 times, what you'll do is you're going to want to adjust the strength. So if you're saying yes and you get strong, and you say no and you're still getting strong, just loosen your grip ever so slightly so that as you say yes, they stay strong, and you say no, they weaken. A lot of the people are just saying, oh, it's in your head, duh. Of course, if you say yes, you're going to use more force, and if you say no, you're going to use less. But no. If you train yourself to use the same amount of pressure every single time, your body or your subconscious mind, your spirit, it's going to do the rest of the work. And so please try that 100 times a day. You could get it in about a week or two, probably at the very most. It took me a month because I was using as much pressure as I could to really test my muscles. But I got so sore and I got so sick of myself and so upset that I couldn't do it. And so 100 times a day, yes, no, yes. No, yes, no. You'll be a pro in about a week or so. Are you taking off?
Yeah, just...
Okay. Let me be very safe, please. So, what I want to do is now teach a couple more methods before we jump into the process of finding these trapped emotions and releasing them. So, that's the ring and ring method. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. Another one is the Han Solo method, but for copyright reasons, Disney and Lucasfilms, we can't say Han Solo. And so what we call it is we do hand solo. So you might not feel the weakness immediately. You might feel a little bit of energy coursing through the body. Thank you for that comment. It's different with everybody. And so what I want you to do is just practice. And so the hand solo method is where you take your pointer finger, make it nice and limp, nice and loose. What I want you to do is use enough strength to flatten that finger. That's all the strength I want you to use. Excuse me. So let's see. So using that enough strength to make that finger nice and straight. But what you'll do is you'll put your middle finger on top, and you just once again say yes and just barely push, and you'll very subtly feel that finger start to strengthen. Yes, no, and it'll go weak. And it's not, I mean, again, don't use as much force as you possibly can. That's going to tire you so quickly. Hope you guys can still see me. Sorry about that. You're going to get super tired super quickly. And so instead of doing all the force you can, just keep it limp, very carefully strengthen it out, and then push down and say yes and push. No. Let it weaken. Let it fall. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. When I'm in a hurry, this is my go-to, especially when I'm driving. I shouldn't be, but when I'm working on somebody in my mind. If you're sitting, it shouldn't matter if your legs are crossed or not, as long as you're putting the focus on wanting to help the person. You're allowing yourself to you're allowing yourself to make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, that's fine. We all make mistakes, and that was the biggest thing that I had to worry about. If I get a wrong answer, don't worry about it. Test again. So if you say your name is Karsten and you get strong and your name is not Karsten, don't beat yourself up. Just use a little less strength for next time. I had the hardest time with that. Love you, baby. Be safe. I had the hardest time with that. Thank you guys so much for inviting your followers. But I had the hardest time with that because I just needed to know every answer. And I thought that I could practice with playing cards. Do not do that. It doesn't work like that. Playing cards do not have a body or a soul. They will not give you the answer. And so you can think, on a subconscious level, you know what the next card is. I thought so too, and maybe that's true, but my body has never given me the right answer every time with playing cards, because what we're doing with playing cards is we're just messing, I think. We're testing to see if this works or not. And so instead of, practicing with your name, we're practicing is the next card a red card, and it's a black card, even though, is it a red card? You say yes, but it's a black card next time. I got so mad at myself. Don't do that. It won't fry your brain. What's the word? It'll tick you off like nothing else, because you'll get the wrong answer almost every time. This, this particular information has been given to us from on high, from the higher power, from God, the universe, the Great Spirit, whatever you guys' belief system is. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to share my beliefs. I believe that there's, somebody who is very, very much aware of our situation and very, very much higher in power than us, in knowledge, in everything, in perfection. He is a perfect being. He knows everything, and he's given us this information to help ourselves and help one another, not to win at gambling. And so it's not going to work if you're testing cards. It's not going to work if you're testing if you need to get this job or not, because it's not, to be messed around with. It's to really allow ourselves to get to know our bodies better. We've had these bodies for thousands of years, and we're still trying to figure out how everything works. Only within the last 10 years did we know that tonsils, appendix, and gallbladders were actually useful in the body. We've just removed them, by saying, oh, you have this problem because you have too many organs in your body. It's just very silly that's been our mindset for so long, when in reality we have problems because those particular organs are unhappy. I believe that God is the creator of the heavens and the earth. He's our creator. He's our heavenly Father, and he created every one of us to have joy. And so if we don't have joy, even our organs were created to have joy. Hey, Chad, how are you? Everything in our bodies were created to have joy. And so if something doesn't have joy, obviously we're going to have a symptom of pain or discomfort. And so what we do is we ask our body with muscle testing, because our body knows everything. And so if something's congruent or true, it's going to give us a good, strong response, a good, strong answer. If it's incongruent or false, it's going to give us a nice, weak answer so that we can keep asking the right questions and move on. And so, so these are the first two methods. I love the ring and ring, my absolute favorite. Just say yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, yes, no. Do that 100 times a day for a couple of weeks. You're going to be a pro. It took me a month because, once again, I was very hard on myself. I think Facebook just crashed again. Yep, it did. All right, I'll load that back up. I was very, very frustrated with myself. And so please do not beat yourself up if you get the wrong answer. Just be in tune with yourself. Figure out what's going on. Are you doing too much pressure? Are you doing too little pressure? Just figure out what's going on. Do not beat yourself up. Have love in your heart for yourself and the person that you're ultimately going to be able to help with this modality. And it's going to be absolutely incredible. It's one of the biggest blessings in my life. And so those were the two methods. The first ones, the first one is the ring and ring. Yes, no, yes, no. The second one is the hand solo, where you make the the finger straight. You don't use a lot of strength, just enough to keep it straight. Push down. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. The next one is called the falling log. And what you'll do is you'll make a very loose fist with your right hand and extend your pointer finger like this. I'll do a kind of a 360 so you kind of know what that looks like. My wrist doesn't move that way, so it won't be a full 360, but just gently, once again, use enough pressure to keep your finger up. What I want you to do is I want you to take your pinky and this little crease right here in between these knuckles, I want you to put right underneath this knuckle right here. Just like that. What I want you to do is gently grab your right hand with the rest of your left hand, very, very gently. I don't want any strength here. And what I want you to do is with that finger, just having enough pressure to keep itself up, I want you to just say your name. My name is Karsten. And I want you to gently, gently apply some pressure with your pinky to push down on this finger. And you'll notice that your finger will want to just stay up. And so if you say your name is Catherine and you're not Catherine, and you push down with the same amount of strength, you'll feel it just break. Or give way, I guess. It's just a nice falling log. And so a lot of people love this. Hey, Heather. Welcome back. So this is their favorite method. If you guys aren't following Bill Barney, he's absolutely incredible. This is his go-to. He's amazing at it. So it might be easier to do this than the ring and ring or the hand solo. But whatever works. I'm going to show you a couple more. And it's going to be, hopefully these are going to be very helpful to you. Hi. So as you push down, you can just say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I don't really like that one just because it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I guess if I did a little bit more practice with it, it'd be a little easier for me. But I just love, doing this if I'm on the road and I just need to get a very quick answer. I'll show you that when we're in motion. This is great. It's given me so much accuracy. Just being, super, super patient with myself. They all have given me very good accuracy. But what we'll do now, so again, that's the falling log. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. The next one is the flick, the finger flick. And so if you guys take your right hand or your left hand and you just put your finger, like your fingernail right under the bud of the thumb, and you say yes, and you apply some pressure into the finger to kind of flick it. If you say yes, and you just gently apply that pressure, you'll notice that it'll be good and strong. But if you say no, and you apply the same amount of pressure, you'll feel it kind of give away. And so again, that's just the finger flick. So yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So you're using the same amount of pressure here, but it's the thumb, the very subtle thumb muscles that are kind of moving. It's it's pushing in to keep it good and strong, and it's allowing it to kind of weaken and allow that finger to give way when it means no. Bless you, handsome man. So again, finger flick. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I'm already getting tight right here, so if that's your guys' go-to, make sure you're using enough pressure so that it doesn't start to hurt and keep you from being able to do that. If any of these hurt, do not do them. Work on something else. Or at least, lose some pressure. Because if it hurts, you're doing it wrong, and it's not supposed to hurt. It's supposed to allow you to be in tune with your body. And if you're causing yourself more pain, you're causing all these other symptoms, and then you'll be frustrated with yourself. You got a trapped emotion in your hands, and then you'll have carpal tunnel in a couple of years. And so, I'm just kidding. That might be a little bit exaggerated, but Habla en español. Ramses, ¿cómo estás? Con tiempo voy a hacer todo esto en español, pero primeramente quiero hacerlo en inglés. For those who speak Spanish, again, I'm working on Facebook and Periscope, and so I'm looking at a lot of different people. Soy muy bueno. ¿Cómo estás tú? So, my mission companion from Mexico, he's writing me in Spanish, and so what I want to do is eventually do this in Spanish too. So those who are, understanding about half of this in English, don't worry. Eventually, I'm going to be able to do this in Spanish. What I want you to do is master this. I want you to figure out yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. Because once you figure this out, you'll be able to accomplish anything. It's just a matter of asking the right questions, finding out where these imbalances are, what the trapped emotions are, and then releasing them. And then testing to make sure that they're good and released. And so, another method, I've never been able to figure this out, but if you take your thumb and your finger, if it's either your middle or your pointer finger, and you rub it, it'll be nice and silky smooth. And then if you say, "My name is Karsten," apparently there'll be a little bit more friction, and it'll stop. And if you say your name is Nancy, it'll just keep on going. And some people are like reversed. So if you say your name is Karsten, it just keeps on that nice, silky, smooth motion. If you say your name is Nancy, then that's when the friction comes in and stops. I've never been able to figure that one out. A lot of these, I've been very patient with myself, and I've been able to figure out these to get the right answers, but I've never been able to do this. And so if you guys are able to, awesome. It's the coolest. It's interesting. People get the very best results with this. It's very subtle. You can do this behind your back in the grocery store if you're working on somebody. Oh, that was very quick for you. Interesting. So that might be your go-to method. A lot of these are going to be different for everybody else. And I'm sorry for the Facebook people if it's still weird and blurry. It's like a weird connection. But that's so interesting. So this is working for my friend Linda, and it's never worked for me ever. So that's very cool that was her go-to. So this very well might be your go-to. What I'm doing is I'm giving you a broad spectrum of different ways to test so that you can find which one actually works for you, because that's going to be your go-to. And what I want you to do is I want you to perfect that particular method so that you may begin working on yourself, your friends, your family, our veterans, whoever needs help. Your pets. I forgot to mention pets. You can do this on your pets. I've worked on several different animals, and it's absolute awesomeness. And so I'll go into that a little bit more. I think I've spent more time figuring out, how to teach you guys to muscle test than in kind of energy than what the process is. But this is very, very important, because if you don't understand how to do this, you won't be able to find these answers. You won't be able to, to relieve physical pain or help with other things. And so those are the other ones. Another one is if you were to stand up. If you have the ability to stand up, if you're not in an office or working or anything, if you just stand up. There's another indicator. So a yawn. If you were to ask a question and you want to get a yes answer, sometimes you'll breathe in very deeply, or you'll yawn, or you'll blink a couple times and you won't realize it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful I'm able to give you guys these details, but there might be other methods. You can push down your arm. You might be able to. Sorry about that. A friend of my ward, she has her son put his head against her arm, and for yes answers, she'll push against his head, and he'll be able to keep his head good and strong. It was the funniest thing. I thought, you'll see what I'm getting at in a minute, but every time it was a no answer, she'd be able to push his head. So it was always like, the Spirit of Christ compels thee, or something like that, when it was a no answer. It was just hilarious. And so, make up your own. If none of these work for you, make up your own. Just test different muscles. Be very subtle. Be very gentle with yourself. Oh, goodness. Oh, yes. You're very silly. So be very patient with yourself, very loving, and understanding that you might get a wrong answer. That's totally fine. And so, I'm so grateful. So, these are other methods. So again, if you were to stand up in a straight line and you think very, very loving, very positive thoughts, you'll breathe in very deeply. You'll feel really, really good. As you're concentrating, you'll feel your body start to sway forward a little bit. This is called a sway test. Things that are congruent, that are true, that are good, that are of the light. You're going to feel yourself sway towards that. Your body wants more of that. It's going to sway towards it. But if you feel hatred, darkness, absolute, putrid things, death, things that are of the dark, if you will, or if you just say no to yourself or think of of something incongruent, you'll feel your body sway away from it. And sometimes this works on people, sometimes it doesn't. I haven't had the best success with this. My sister has, but just wait for your body to sway itself either forward or backward. Interestingly enough, some people are reversed. They'll sway backwards towards the good and forward towards the towards the dark, towards the bad. I don't know what all that's about. There might be some polarity that's reversed and needs to be corrected, but more often than not, when it works for them, they'll sway towards the good and sway away from the bad. And so that's called the sway test. Again, yes, no, yes, no. And I'm just doing it with my own muscles right now, but you got to let your fine muscles in your body control that movement, because that's the body's way of saying yes, things are good, or no, things are bad. Get away from that. And so be very in tune with yourself. Again, be very patient. Do not beat yourself up if you get a wrong answer. If you get a wrong answer, use less or more pressure depending on what the answer is, or switch to another method. Do not be hard on yourself. That's the number one way you're going to get discouraged and throw this all away. So please, 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 I cannot reiterate that enough and express that enough. And so what we'll do, these are other methods. Again, if you want to look on YouTube, I think there's a few videos of like professional muscle testing that chiropractors will use. There's like a leg length test. If you do a leg length test and one leg is longer than the other, that means no. If you do the length test and they're together, that means yes. Crazy stuff. I can't do that, but what I want to do is I want you to master a particular muscle testing method. And the reason is because we're going to begin asking our body questions. And so I'll ask for a volunteer in a second, but if you guys in your own time, I'll put these links in the oh my goodness. I'll put the links in the Facebook comments and stuff. But if you were good to go to so sorry. Lots of energy flowing. That's a good sign. If you go to drbradleynelson.com, goodness, and Bradley is E-L-Y, or L-E-Y, sorry. So Bradley, Dr. Bradley Nelson, so drbradleynelson.com. If you also go to emotioncodeoffer.com. If you guys want to write this down actually really quick, I should have written this down for you guys, and I'm sorry I haven't, but what I want you guys to do is I'm going to teach you guys how to use the emotion code right now. There's a chart of 60 main emotions that originate from several organs in the body, and they can originate from the heart or the small intestine. They can originate from the spleen or stomach, the lung or colon. Yes, emotioncodeoffer.com. Perfect. What you're going to do is this is actually, so the author is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's the author of the Emotion Code book. He's the creator of the Body Code system. And he has a couple of pages. And so if you do drbradleynelson.com, you'll given links to his bio. If you just even Google, yes, thank you so much for that. So Dr. Bradley Nelson. If you even Google Dr. Bradley Nelson, you're going to be guided to all of his pages. There's healerslibrary.com. You're absolutely welcome. Please write these down because this is where all the information is going to be coming from. This is what's going to help you guys. But what I'm looking at right now, if you go to emotioncodeoffer.com right now, you'll have the ability to put in your email address and your first name, and he's actually going to send you all this information for free. It's absolutely incredible. He'll have a chart of emotions for you. He'll have the Emotion Code ebook. Goodness. He'll have the Emotion Code audio book where you can download onto your computer or your phone, your device, whatever, and listen to the entire book. That's how I learned. I was redoing my basement myself. I was carpeting and kind of cleaning out my old nasty basement, and I listened to the entire book while I did that, and I learned the emotion code in that sense, in that way. And so, absolutely incredible. emotioncodeoffer.com. as well as drbradleynelson.com and healerslibrary.com. These are the main sites you're going to want to go to get all this information. But most importantly, emotioncodeoffer.com, because you're going to get all of this information and begin working yourselves. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, there's a chart of emotions. There's 60 main emotions. They originate from these different organs in the body. And anybody and absolutely everybody in the world has at least one trapped emotion. Even, okay, maybe not 100%, because maybe brand new babies, it's very possible they don't. If the mom and the dad had, a perfect 9 months, and there were no terrible emotions that were felt during the pregnancy, it's very possible that the baby will not have a trapped emotion, but it's also very possible that even babies fresh out of the womb will have lots of trapped emotions because they were felt while in the womb. And it's rare, but sometimes babies will actually feel emotions before they're even conceived. Because again, having the belief that God is our Father, that we all lived with Him before, it's very possible that before we came to this earth, we might have felt fear or anxiety or nervousness or kind of feelings of inadequacy, maybe unworthy or worthless to come to this earth. But those are absolutely false. Obviously we weren't worthless, we weren't unworthy to come to this earth. We were here for a purpose. And so what we're going to do, oh gosh, I hate to do this. I think I'm going to have to unplug the Facebook. It's got 10% battery left. I'm going to plug in Periscope so I can last a little bit longer, but we'll take that as we go. But these emotions that we feel, they can be so strong that they literally become trapped somewhere in our bodies. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the process in just a second. So what I want to do is I want to take a volunteer. Penny, are you still in the house? Yes, you are. So my Aunt Penny, I told her that I wanted to use her as a volunteer. Maybe I'll use somebody else a little bit. So do you have physical pain anywhere in your body right now? And it can be even acute pain. Okay, where is your pain located, if you feel comfortable asking, letting us know? Sharing, if you will. So left shoulder. So there's pain in the left shoulder. It's not a coincidence, but I was actually working on her mother-in-law the other day, and she had terrible pain in her left shoulder. I released 3 trapped emotions from her left shoulder, and she was completely pain-free. And so this will be interesting. From 0 to 10, Penny, how bad is that pain right now? 10 being pregnancy, 0 being no pain at all. I'm so grateful. Yeah, her mother-in-law wasn't even able to extend her arm. I can't even show you. So pretend my arm is completely straight out. She couldn't lift it past that. Oh, now it's a 6. Okay. But, releasing those emotions, she was able to have full mobility again. And so your pain's at a 6 right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask your body, again, making these little muscle testing things. What I want to do is, since you have the desire to have your shoulder worked on and I have the desire to help you, we've actually, in a very real way, we've made an energetic or spiritual connection. Hey, Heather and Jessica, welcome back. Sorry, Facebook's been really weird. I've had weird connection issues, but what we're going to do is we're going to, ask if we can make that connection. I'm going to ask if I can connect with you at this time, Penny. And as I use my muscle testing, I get a good strong yes. And so Penny's given me permission on a subconscious and a conscious level. And so when if I ask if I can act as her proxy, I do get a good strong yes. And so what I want to do is take a brief second, ask that higher power for help, so that we can work on her and find these emotions causing her shoulder pain in order to release it. And so give me just a brief second, I'll be right back. All right, thank you so much. So we made a good, strong connection. We're good and strong. So Heather and Jessica, this is Penny Tidwell, if you remember, from the ward. We're going to go ahead and work on her right now. She's on Periscope, by the way. And sorry, Kathy, I just missed that message. So what I'm going to do, I have this chart of emotions, and briefly what I want to do is kind of show you what it looks like. I'll flip both cameras so you can kind of see. Hopefully it's kind of clear. Almost there. Facebook's good and clear. So is Periscope. Awesome. So we have this chart of emotions. It's divided into columns and rows. And what we're going to do is we're going to muscle test and see which column the particular emotion is in and which row, and then we'll find out which cell, and then out of the 5 emotions in that cell, we'll figure out which one is causing her left shoulder pain. And so let me flip the cameras back around so I can work. And again, you can find this chart. If you just Google emotion code chart, you'll find this exact chart. And once you master the muscle testing, I'll show you guys the process of finding these answers so that you may begin releasing your own trapped emotions, releasing those of your friends and family, and relieve you of physical pain. This is going to be so much fun. Are you guys ready? So Penny's shoulder pain is at a 6. Is there a trapped emotion causing this terrible left shoulder pain? Aha, there is. So is the emotion in column A or column B? Is it in an odd row or an even row? So you already know that it's in a B even row because I got strong on both B and even row. And so is the emotion in row 2, row 4, or row 6? So B6. So there's 5 emotions. There's pride, shame, shock, unworthy, or worthless. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask, is the emotion causing your left shoulder pain, is it the emotion of pride, or shame, or shock, or unworthy, or worthless? So the emotion of shock, right? Because that was the only one out of the whole cell that was strong. So that's how we find these answers. We ask the body with muscle testing. So we have an emotion of shock. That's half of it. The other part is we got to find out at what age she felt the shock. And so, Penny, how old are you? I forget. You're what, 25? I wouldn't say a day over 30, but 42. You're still young. So 42. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask, did you feel this emotion of shock before the age of 20 or after? And as you can see, we just divided her life in half. We're going to divide it in halves and figure out when she felt this. So was it before 20 or after? Did you feel the shock after the age of 30? Yes. Did you feel it after 35? No. So between 30 and 35 is when she felt this emotion of shock. I know, right? 25 it's a good number. So what did I just say? 30 and 35? Yeah. So did you feel this shock before, or was it at age 30, or 31, or 32, or 33, or 34, or 35? So the emotion of shock, this particular shock was felt at 34. So Penny, would that even ring true for you, feeling a particular emotion of shock at 34 years old? About 8-ish years ago. And it could be within about a year plus or minus with accuracy, so it could have been, 33, 34, 35. Would that ring true for you? I know, right? So she's trying to remember where she lived. A lot of the times we don't need to know, but it's fun to just ask to kind of figure out. Okay, so you can already think of something. And the cool thing is we don't even need to know what the situation was. We just need to know if it rings true or not. So we can see if we need to know more. And so the situation that you're thinking of right now, is that what this shock has to do with? Bet your bottom dollar it does. And so you probably wouldn't think, okay, so whatever you were thinking first, that's what that was. And so what we'll do is ask if we need to know any more. No, and so Penny, you probably wouldn't think that shock that you felt would cause your shoulder to be in so much pain 8 years later, but in fact, that's what's going on. And so here's where the magnets come into play. Whoever asked on Periscope, I forgot who it was. But where all things are energy, what we do is we apply pure energy into our system. Because this emotion was felt and it lodged somewhere in her left shoulder 8 years ago, and now it's causing pain. There are meridians or rivers of energy throughout the entire body, and there are some that are actually in the left arm and the right arm, obviously. And so what happens is when these emotions are brought to conscious awareness, they literally pop up. And so what's happening is the energy of these meridians, the meridians are flushing this energy out of the shoulder into what's called the governing meridian. And that meridian starts at the top of the lip, goes over the head, down the back, clear down to the tailbone, and it flows in kind of a figure 8 motion. And so what's happening is this emotion has now been pushed into this governing meridian. And so what we do is, in order to flush it out or take it out, like if you have, that fun magnetic dust, and you grab one of those fun horseshoe magnets and you grab it and then the dust just kind of clings on. It's kind of like that. It's more like a flushing out kind of a flow. But what happens is, what we do is, I use a nice rolly magnet from a Japanese company called Niken. They create magnets that are used specifically for the healing of the body. But what's happening is, these particular magnets, even if you used a refrigerator magnet, it works the same way. If you don't have those, again, we have our own magnetic field that extends about 12 feet in diameter. And so your very fingertips have a magnetic charge. And if you were to just go ahead and swipe somewhere along that meridian about 3 times, what will happen is, as I use my rolling magnet, we're either sucking out the energy of that emotion of shock, or we're just flushing it out. So it's either getting caught on the magnet, or it's flushing it out. There's actual physics behind that. I won't go into that. That'll take another hour to explain. But what we'll do is we'll check and see if that shock has actually been released from your shoulder. And yes, it has. The body says yes, don't worry about it. And so, Penny, let's have you stand up, walk around, move that shoulder a little bit, and see if you're still at a 6, or if we've actually literally dropped your pain. Drum roll, please. I'll wait and see what Penny says as she's walking around. So let's wait a second. Wow! So Heather, Jessica, Penny was at a 6, and she just barely said that her pain in the shoulder is now at a 1 or 2. Isn't that incredible? So that one emotion of shock. I meant to mention a pendulum too. If you guys use pendulums, that'll also work. That just takes a little bit longer, I found. If it moves a certain way for yes or another way for no. Again, it's just the fine muscles in your body, in your arm, allowing that to do specific movements to show you what's a yes and what's a no. So yes, if you use a pendulum, that works fine. I use fingers. You too. So I just use the muscle testing because it works quicker for me. Whatever works best for you guys, yes, totally do it. So you could use a pendulum. But wasn't that incredible? So when was the last time your shoulder was at a 1 or 2, Penny, without pain medication? You can never lift it up and backwards without. Oh, wow. But now you can do it, it sounds like. So I didn't even know that. So, Heather and Jessica, she just said that she wasn't even able to, move it around. And 4 years ago was the last time she felt that good. And so, just by releasing that one emotion, she now has a little bit more mobility, less pain. And so it's absolutely awesome. And you guys can do this yourselves. Once you master the muscle testing technique of your choice, all you have to do is just ask the body, if there's physical pain. Let's ask again, is there another trapped emotion that's causing the pain in your left shoulder? Yes. You have to make an energetic connection. You need to ask the higher power for help first, because this is not me doing anything. This is me asking God to allow me to find these answers. Penny's giving them to me on a subconscious level. I'm finding them, clearing them out, and allowing her to feel better. And so once you guys make that connection, you've asked that higher power for help. All you have to do is ask if there's another trapped emotion causing the pain in the left shoulder. There is. Ask, is it in column A on the chart of emotions? Yes, it is. Or column B? No. Is it in an odd row or an even row? It's an even row. Is it in row 2 or row 4 or row 6? So it's row 4 in column A, which there are 5 more emotions. Anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, and resentment. So just ask, is the emotion anger? Oops, my screen just shut off. Is the emotion anger or bitterness or guilt or hatred, or is it resentment? So it's resentment this time. So where you're so the next part, of course, is finding out at what age. Ask the person how old they are. Penny's 42, and just divide their lives in half. Did you feel this resentment before the age of 20 or after? Was it after 30 that you felt this? No. Was it after 25? No, so between 20 and 25 is when you felt the resentment. Was it at age 20, or 21, or 22, or 23, or 24, or was it at age 25? So at 25 years old, did you feel resentment, Penny? Would that ring true for you? Again, that's another process, or another step, is asking if it rings true for them. And just wait for their answer. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes they won't think of anything, and that's totally fine. So this exact situation. If they don't know, make sure you ask every single time you find something. You ask, do we need to know more about this emotion of resentment? No. So the battery's pretty much dead on Facebook. Let me plug in Periscope. I'm so sorry for those who missed out. Let me take off my case really quick and we'll keep going. I just want to make sure we do all that we can. I wonder if I'll be able to broadcast from my computer or if it has to be a device. Do you guys know? Anyway, I'll figure that out later. So, again, do we need to know more about that resentment? No, we don't. So once again, it's flowed from, I know, right? So it went from the shoulder into the governing meridian somewhere. So what we'll do is we'll apply pure energy from a magnet or from our own magnetic field from our fingertips into that meridian in order to flush it out and completely release it. You can do it only needs 3 times. I like to do just a couple extra just because it feels so dang good. And so, has that successfully been released? And yes, it has. And so, darn, I wish we could do live broadcasts from the computer. Hopefully that'll be in the in a later update of the thing or whatever. But I'm so sad that Facebook users won't be able to finish. Again, I'll make sure I share this with you guys. And so, has that resentment been released? Yes, it has. And so, Penny, if you stand up, walk around a little bit, and move that around, is it still at about a 1 or 2, or has that been completely released? Okay, so sometimes that'll happen. It'll still be at about a 1 or 2, and that just means that even though there are some trapped emotions, there's actually a little bit more that needs to be resolved, and that's where the body code comes in. I won't discuss the body code here. I'll do a couple other broadcasts where I actually show you the body code, but this is emotion code training specifically, so you can at least get all that you can done before having to go to somebody else. And so, let's ask, is there another trapped emotion that's causing the remainder of that pain in the left shoulder? And there actually is. So let's go back and see, is the emotion, again, watch my process and follow it, is the emotion in column A or B? Is it on an odd row? Yes. Is it in row 1 or 3 or 5? So there are 5 emotions in B5. Is it conflict? So it could be conflict, creative insecurity, terror, unsupported, or wishy-washy. Is the emotion conflict, or creative insecurity, or terror, or unsupported, or wishy-washy? So unsupported. Did you feel this unsupported before the age of 20, or after? Was it after 30, after 35, after 40? No, it's between 35 and 40. Was it at 35 that you felt this unsupported, or 36, or 37, or 38, or 39? 39 years old. Did you feel unsupported a couple years ago? 39? Yep, so it already makes sense to you. And so, what we'll do now is just see, do we need to know any more about it? All right. Kathy, good luck. I hope everything goes well for you. So what we'll do is, since we don't need to know more, let's go ahead and apply that energy. Since it traveled from the shoulder to the governing meridian, just go ahead and completely release that unsupported and see if that has, in fact, been released. And yes, it has. And so now let's have you stand up and move around a little bit and see if that's still at a 1 or 2 or if that's actually been released completely. Well, that's about when it began. Okay, very interesting. So unsupported. How does it feel now? Is it still at about a 1 or 2, or... Hi. 0. Woohoo! So that's the coolest part about this. You don't need pain meds. You just ask the body, what emotions did you feel at a certain time that became lodged in that pain area that's causing all that pain. She was at a 6. She usually gets up to like an 8 or 9, she said. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see if that kind of flares up later on, or if she's healed from that physical pain in that left shoulder. And so, absolutely sweet. That's what I wanted to teach you guys. So let's go ahead and go over the process. So when somebody has pain, you can explain. There's a particular method that we can ask your body, what's going on, and figure out why that you have physical pain. And once you've kind of explained very briefly, I mean, obviously, as you guys are very much beginners, as you're reading the ebook, as you're listening to the audiobook from the site emotioncodeoffer.com, again, you have to put in your email address and your first name, but he'll send you everything. You'll be able to start there. Once you've kind of mastered this, all you need to do is just ask if you have their permission. The person that you work on, whether it's the person with you, maybe if they have a family member in China, you can actually, like I'm doing right now, Penny's on the other side of the country. She's not here anywhere close, but as we can clearly see, it still works. It's just a matter of allowing her, allowing her to verbally, or even on a conscious level, give me a nice nod or write yes in the description. As long as I have her consent in one way or another, I'll be able to work on her. She's pretty much giving me permission because she wants me to work on her. And since I have a desire to work on her, we've already made a connection. But what I do is I always invite everybody to make that conscious, or that that literal connection. I want you to confirm that connection with muscle testing so that you know for sure. That's just going to solidify everything. And so we make sure you have a good connection. Yes, and so when you test on yourself, it doesn't matter where they are. If it could be in the same room and you can still test on yourself, it works just fine. That could be surrogate testing or proxy testing, is when you test on yourself. We can go into deeper detail as how to use an actual surrogate. Because if you're with somebody and you want to show them how this works, you want to push down on their arm. Again, just have them extend their arm, either in front of them or to the side. Find the speed bump of the body, that little bone, and go above the body, not below. Because if you're to push on the wrist bones, it's going to feel pain and it's always going to drop. No matter what you do or what you say, you'll always get a bad answer. So always go just above that bump. And don't use a lot of pressure again, remember. Just enough pressure to start to push your arm down, and then just ask the person to match that pressure. Don't say use all the force in your body. Just say match my pressure. And what's going to happen is you're going to push down a little bit, and as you push down and he pushes back up, or she, you'll be able to get that baseline test, is what it's called. And so with a baseline test, you can just ask, is your name Catherine? And if it's Catherine, you push down, she should be good and strong. Say, is your name Robert? Obviously, if her name is not Robert, and you push down with the same amount of force, ask her to just use the same amount of pressure pushing up. You should be able to feel her go completely dead, if not just a little bit weak. And if it doesn't work that way, just say, that's one way we can do it. What I'll do is I'll test on myself and get the same answers, and it's totally fine. And so, baseline test as well as make that connection. And I always take 5 to 10 seconds to just ask the higher power for help, since the information comes from him. Once you've done that, what I do is I just ask for permission to work on the person. I ask for help in finding these answers that the person's body and spirit will try to give me, so that I may help resolve this physical pain, or this depression, or this PTSD, or my dog's irregular bowel movements, or irregular urination. Whatever it is, just ask for help to find the answers that the recipient of the work, their body is trying to give you, and then thank him proactively for the success he's going to give you, because he'll always help you if you ask for help. Asking you shall receive, right? And so once you've gotten that done and you've made the connection, you can confirm the connection Confirm that you connect as a surrogate or proxy for them. What you do is you just ask, is there a trapped emotion that's causing this or that's causing that? I love the word causing because there are underlying causes for everything that's wrong with us. And it's not, these symptoms, they aren't going to go away if you just treat them with a drug. You have to find underlying causes for those symptoms. And so with Penny's shoulder, remember I asked, is there an underlying trapped emotion that is causing this pain in your left shoulder? And as I tested, there definitely was. And so, if somebody has depression, ask, is there a trapped emotion that's causing your depression? Yes. Is there a trapped emotion that's causing you to have irregular urination? There is. It would be fun. If you want, you can actually divide the body into halves. So that's actually a good question, how to know when we find them all. It's just a matter of asking and asking and asking until the body says stop. It's very possible that you still have a couple more, but they're just not strong enough to, that they need to be released immediately. You might feel a little bit of a fluctuation in the pain, and that's also to be expected. If there's more that needs to be worked on, then other trapped emotions might resurface, give you another little symptom of pain, so you know that there's something else that needs to be worked on. But you'll know that they're all released if there's zero pain for the rest of your life. And so, again, it's just a matter of asking. You could ask if there are a certain amount of trapped emotions in your body that need to be released. Yes, then you can just go right up the number chart, go by 5s, by 10s, by 100s, and just see how many, trapped emotions you have. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that is, because a lot of them are very deep. You'll have to ask if there's hidden trapped emotions, if there are trapped emotions that are creating a heart wall, and that's a whole other discussion. I feel bad we can't cover it today, but it's just a matter of asking the questions, asking the right questions, and confirming with muscle testing. This is what you need to get down first, and then using your own intuition, using the spirit, using common sense, really. Just ask the right questions. That's all you need to do. And so go to emotioncodeoffer.com. You're going to find all the information you need and will ever need for the emotion code. You'll have the chart of emotions, the ebook, the audiobook, which Dr. Bradley Nelson will read you the entire book himself and talk to you about how these techniques work. It'll give you the exact process of what you need to do to find the trapped emotions, how to clear out a heart wall, how to work on animals, how to work on people who are unconscious. It's incredible. You can do this for anything and everyone as long as you have permission from the person receiving the work or the person's guardian, if you will, legal guardian. And so once again, we'll just go through the process. You get the baseline test, make sure that it's testable, unless you want to just work on yourself. Get the permission from the person. Angela, how are you, girl? And then what you do is you ask, for the pain, obviously, they're going to give you a symptom. And don't address cancer. Don't say cancer at all, because the body doesn't recognize it as cancer. It recognizes it as a symptom that it's giving you because you're not resolving something. Doctors call it cancer because cancer is an accumulation of symptoms. Cancer or any disease is accumulation of symptoms. So what you do is you address symptom. If you have a lump, you don't say, is there a reason for the cancer? Or is there an underlying cause for the cancer? You say, is there an underlying cause for this weird lump you have in your left breast? Or in your shoulder? Or, in your back or whatever. If you address the symptom, the physical symptom, you're going to get the right answers. If you say cancer, you're going to get weird answers. You're not going to help anybody. And that comes right out of Dr. Bradley Nelson's mouth as well. And so ask, is there an underlying imbalance? Is there a trapped emotion that's causing this lump in your left breast or your right or anywhere else? Test, yes. Is this trapped emotion in question in column A or column B? Is it in an odd row? Is it in an even row? So I don't even know whose lump this is, but I'm getting B even. And so, is it in row 2? Is it in row 4? Is it row 6? Yes. And as you ask the right questions for the columns first, then the rows second, and then the emotion third. Is it pride? Yeah, so an emotion of pride is causing a lump in someone's left breast. I don't know whose it is. Maybe it's an avatar. That can happen too. When you practice yourself, if you create an avatar or a fake patient, you'll still be able to get some answers, interestingly enough. And so I don't know how all that works, but it's true. If you pretend that you're working on somebody to get practice, that's one of the best things you can do, is just work on somebody that doesn't even exist in practice. You can say, Kelly is a 40-year-old woman who has severe back pain. Ask if there's a reason for the back pain. Is it a trapped emotion? Yes. And just go down the line and practice that way. Work on yourself for practice. And so, interesting. So working on an avatar might be actually coming up on Scope. So follow, I completely forgot who that was, so follow her. If you have anybody, or if you know who the person is, maybe invite them and have them jump on this so that we can all follow them and work that way. But so once you find the cell, if you go B6, you know what the cell is. And then ask right down the line, is it pride? Yes. Shame, shock, unworthy, worthless. If you get yes on the first one, you only need to do like the next one or two, just to make sure that you're not getting weird answers. If you get yes on the first, make sure that you don't get yes on the second or third. You shouldn't. And if you do get yes, that just means that you're testing a little too hard or you're not 100% focused. And so, a wise Jedi said that your focus determines your reality. And so, make sure you're always focusing on what you're doing. You'll get weird answers if you don't. And so, and unfortunately, I've seen that firsthand. And so, when you have the emotion of pride, you then ask, how old are you? We're going to find out when you felt this emotion. And if they say 50 years old, easy. Just divide their life into halves. So did you feel this before the age of 25 or after? Okay, so it was after 25, which means it could have happened within the latter 25 years of their life. But divide it further. Did you feel it after the age of 30? Yes. Did you feel it after the age of 40? No. So where we went from 30 to 40, there's that 25 in there. So you can go say, did you feel it before the age of 25? Or 35, sorry. Did you feel it before the age of 35? Or after 35? So now you have, instead of 10 years, you have a 5-year window. So you could just ask, did you feel this pride at 35? Or 36? Or 37? Or 38? Or 39? Or 40? And you'll get 39, or whatever age you actually felt the pride, or whatever the emotion is at that time. And so once you figure that out, you can ask, would that ring true for you? Does that make sense? Can you think of a situation where you felt pride at 39 years old? And they'll think a minute, and more often than not, it'll just come to them. They're like, I totally know what that is. And you can express that they don't need to explain verbally what that has to do with, because some things are very personal. I don't know how personal Penny's emotions were in her left shoulder, but it doesn't matter, because we already found the emotion. That's all we need. And so just ask, if they figure out yes or no, they know what it is, just ask to make sure, do we need to know more about that pride? And if we do need to know more, then ask, what are a couple of things that might have happened around 38, 39, or 40? Because it's accurate within about a year, plus or minus. So ask, is there something that might have happened around 38, 39, or 40 that we can gauge this off of? If somebody graduated at 38, you could ask, did you feel this pride before that person's graduation? Yes. Was it after? No. So that might actually open up a little bit, it might open up another window, and they'll be like, okay, if it's before that, I can think of a couple more things, and then usually spot on, they'll be able to pick something out. If not, just keep asking other questions until your body says no longer do you need to know more about it. And so, you can kind of explain that the pride was located below the diaphragm or below the midline or above. If you want to go that deep, you can find out where it's located. Just divide the body into halves. Figure out where it is, and say, do you have physical pain in that area by chance as well? If you're working on back pain, then you probably already have the emotion's location identified. But if you're just working on generals, you can say where it's located, and then ask if they felt discomfort or pain in that area. And more often than not, they'll feel a little something. And so you can just go ahead and say, do we need to know more about the pride? No. And then if you want, you can explain how the meridians work and how it pushes everything to the governing meridian right in the midline of the body. and then explain that with pure magnetic energy, either with a magnet or refrigerator magnet or your fingertips, as you swipe along the governing meridian, it flushes out the negative energy of that emotion. And so this pride that was felt at 39, we're just going to go ahead and wipe that out. And then verify, always verify if that has been released. And yes, it has. And so all you need to do is then ask, since that pride's been released, you can have the person stand up, walk around the room a little bit, and this allows the body to get the blood and the energy flowing throughout the system. Allow the governing meridian to work with the other meridians and get that energy flowing and maybe release that pain. And you'll be very surprised at how quickly you can relieve physical pain just by releasing one trapped emotion. And I teach you guys this emotion code today so you guys can begin helping yourselves and helping your friends, helping your families. I know every single one of you know at least one person or pet that has something going on. And if you just figure out, you master the muscle testing and you figure out the process, you master the process of just asking the body questions, always get permission. It doesn't work if you don't get permission. It's an invasion of privacy and it's unethical, so don't do it. Always make sure you get permission. I could work on so many people. It's silly, but I don't have their permission. They won't give it to me, or I just haven't asked yet. And so it's very heartbreaking when you know somebody can benefit from this and they will not give you permission. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, but we all have our freedom to choose. We have our agency, and so if they choose not to be open to this, unfortunately, we can't help them. No matter how hard we try, we can be sneaky, but it's unethical, and we'll get weird answers because we don't have permissions, and that's not how the higher power wants us to do this. There's an order in everything. Order is the highest law of heaven. There has to be order in everything, and if we break that order, if we skip a step, if we don't ask for help, or if we don't ask for permission, we're going to get weird answers. And so follow the order, please. Go to emotioncodeoffer.com, type in your first name and your email, get all this information, and begin working on this yourselves. Because once you guys master this, you're going to be able to help so many people in ways you have never even imagined. A lot of the people here are already energy workers in their own way. If you guys are very intuitive, you're probably going to find the answers without having to muscle test. And I applaud you because that's an incredible gift that I have not been blessed with. 100%. I'm starting to develop that gift of intuition. And so you guys are so very welcome. But please master this process. I feel bad I have to leave. I have an appointment I'm actually a half hour late for. I'm so sorry, Nancy, if you're watching. Yes, but you're so very welcome. If you guys have any further questions, please email me at karsten.shields@gmail.com. I'm going to keep this up. I did #save so that this stays up on Periscope forever. I'm never going to delete it, and so please download the URL, share it with everybody, share this on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, what have you. Get as many people as you can to figure this out and watch this. Type a brief description of what this entails in order to kind of catch their eye. I won't go into detail on how you guys will be able to do that. Use the spirit, use your intuition. Figure out how you guys can share this gift that's been given from Dr. Bradley Nelson. Again, this is not me. This is nothing to do with me. I just work here. Dr. Bradley Nelson is the mastermind, the genius. Nay, God is the genius, the mastermind behind all of this. And he's allowed us, his children, to help one another on this earth and begin healing the earth one heart at a time. And so please read the the emotion code book, listen to the audio book, learn about heart walls, because as you learn about heart walls and how they're a double-edged sword and how they protect you, but they also keep you from living the life you deserve to live. Once you figure out how to clear those out, that's going to do even more good for you. It can release physical pain as well as goodness, Cohen. Allow you guys to feel and receive, love 100%. And so, my appointment just canceled. I feel so bad. It was a little bit later than I thought. But I'm so grateful, Nancy, you guys were able to watch this. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns. Cohen is ready for food again and just some attention because he's just not getting it apparently. Huh? Yeah, you just want more attention. Yes. Well, I love all you guys. Please share this with everybody. Please review it over and over and over. I know it was a little bit long, and I'm so sorry, but this is so crucial that I want everybody to learn how to do the emotion code. Thank heavens, thank Heavenly Father for Dr. Bradley Nelson for being the man who he trained pretty much. He's been a chiropractor for over 25 years, and he prayed before every single appointment. He asked God, what can I do? How can I help this person? Because he would have patients come in tears, grown men in tears, because they were in so much pain. And he felt that just a mere adjustment wouldn't help him because they've gone to other people. And so he would ask, Heavenly Father, for help. Help me find this. Because he learned muscle testing in college. And he just, he actually explained his process as well in the Emotion Code book and the audio book. He would place his hand on other parts of the body and he would muscle test. And if it went weak, he knew that certain parts of the body just weren't happy. And so he would figure out why. He would clear out these imbalances. He would check and see if the organ or part of the body was happy then. He would then do the adjustment, and pain would just leave these people's bodies. And so over 25 years, he's accumulated all this information. He's figured out that, this is what the emotion code is. It's just a matter of asking what emotions were felt when, clearing them out, and and releasing them. Nancy, I'm so sorry it's gone over time. I'm so sorry we have to reschedule. I just hope that this was helpful to you. We'll go ahead and reschedule that. But yes, everybody else, everybody else that he would work on, he would just ask for help. He would receive revelation pretty much daily. He would just take a little journal and he would write down everything that he learned. And overall, he created what's called the body code system, and that's what this is. And so this is a whole nother ballpark. Absolutely incredible. It deals with 6 major underlying imbalances. The one that we've addressed is the energies, and we've only addressed the emotional side of it, the trapped emotions, where the chart of emotions is. But, there could be other energies going on in the body causing problems. There could be, toxins or poisons. There could be a system or a circuit within the body. If you have a circuit in your home that connects different rooms, if that circuit goes out, the lights and the electricity will go out in several rooms more than just one. And so you have to repair the circuit and the imbalance that, the reason that it went out before you can reestablish the lighting and the electricity. Same thing with our bodies. We have circuits and systems. There could also be a pathogen, a nasty virus or bacteria, or I'm trying to remember if it's 93% or 85%, or a huge number of people in the world have a pathogen of some kind, or a parasite of some kind. And it doesn't have to be, from a foreign country. You can get them in the U.S. too. So everybody has some kind of a pathogen going on, causing imbalance, misalignments of the skeleton or, an organ, or just an imbalance in some other tissue in the body, or an imbalance in another system in the body. Those can also cause problems, as well as, your nutrition and lifestyle. If you're not exercising enough, if you have a pH imbalance, if you're too acidic, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you need to go to the chiropractor, if your body needs the vibration of a specific color, all these things can cause or contribute to pretty much any and every, ailment in our body. And so this is the body code system created by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which was given to him through revelation over 25 years. And this is just the beginning, the emotion code. So please, drbradleynelson.com, healerslibrary.com, but more importantly, for you guys at this time, if you were to just Google, the emotion code ebook free, you'll find a downloadable ebook site where you can download the entire book. So the body code system, it is available. You do have to purchase it. It's kind of a high price, but I've been doing this for 14 years. I've used it every single day, and I've had nothing but success. And I have never regretted paying the amount that I did. And I won't discuss price because Dr. Bradley Nelson, he uses. Sorry, let me clear off my camera a little bit. He has a bit of a promotion. If you guys follow him on his sites and you watch a webinar or two where he actually explains how this works, if you guys Google, what's the site? There's a specific site if you go to, he'll actually send you a link to watch a webinar, and he'll actually show you how the body code works. And after the webinar, he'll give you a special promotion on the body code. It is a little bit of money, but he does have payment plans, so you guys can buy it and use it the exact, within the same hour that you purchase the system. You don't have to wait for. Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I meant to mention that. You will receive physical stuff, but he'll actually send you electronic stuff too. He'll send you the app electronically that you'll be able to begin using if you want. I don't want to go in too much detail with that, but so yeah, I mean, if you want, you can get it today. That's how amazing it is and how accessible it is. But he does give a discount if you kind of follow his stuff. If you just type in your email, if you subscribe to Healer's Library, there's a free subscription you guys can do, and you get a lot of information that way. You are too late, darn it! But guess what? I saved this so that you guys can watch this whenever you want. I'm never ever going to delete this. I'm going to allow you to keep it up so you guys can share the URL on. I'm so grateful you've caught him, and I love being here for you. And so yes, drbradleynelson.com, healerslibrary.com, emotioncodeoffer.com, and I feel like there's a couple more. If you just Google Dr. Bradley Nelson or the emotion code or the body code, you're going to find everything you need. But please go to these sites, especially emotioncodeoffer.com. You'll plug in your first name, your email address, and you'll get the emotion code book, the ebook, the audio book, and the chart of emotions for free. If you were to just go, if you at least watch this Periscope and you learn from this Periscope, all you have to do is just Google an image of the emotion code chart of emotions. Or if you just do chart of emotions, you're going to find it. And it's just a matter of asking the right questions and following that process, following the order, and clearing out these nasty negative energies from people that you love dear. This works for physical pain, it works for phobias, it works for really anything, because symptoms are just the body's way of saying something's going on. You got to get it fixed. And so you guys are so very welcome. I'm so very grateful I was able to do this. Please follow these sites if you have any questions. If you just need to have an email with all these sites, please shoot me an email at karsten.shields@gmail.com. It's in my bio, and I'll answer any question you guys may have. I am also a practitioner, like I said. Since you guys watch this, I'll give you guys a discount on my regular price. I give a free half-hour session to get to know you and get to know your symptoms, and on a very deep level. I'm so very grateful you guys are able to see this, and I'm very excited for you guys to begin helping others as well. That's what the point of this was, is to you guys to get to know how this works and begin your process, begin your journey, begin practicing on yourself, on your friends, your family, on your kids, on your pets. If your dog freaks out over everything, work on it. Is there a trapped emotion that causes you to freak out when somebody walks 200 feet away from the porch? Then just go ahead and just drill it. I mean, you as the pet's owner, you don't have to ask permission. But if you work on somebody else's pet, obviously ask the owner's permission. If you see a wild animal, just ask the pet's permission and then test to see if you've gotten that permission. But it works for anything and everyone. Anything and everything. And so please just look into this. Shoot me an email if you need more information. I'm here. And if you want to schedule a free consultation, a half-hour consultation, I'll be able to do that, and then I'll give you a discount if you choose to work full-time with me, or regularly with me anyway. A lot of people that have been on this, Nancy specifically, a lot of people who are on this broadcast have been able to help in significant ways. There's still a long ways to go with Nancy, but it is very, very mind-blowing. And you guys, I don't know if you believe that I was one of the biggest skeptics just over a year ago, but I really was. I would make fun of people who did energy work because I just thought they were the biggest kooks, because the media portrays us as kooks, don't they? Because they know that this stuff works, and it's all about making money, right? It's all about the medicine. It's all about the drugs that keep you coming back. And so this isn't very welcomed, but there's if you follow Emmanuel Zevallos, he kind of talks about, he takes you through his own journey, his emotion code journey. I'm surprised he didn't jump on. Maybe he did, and I just didn't see him. But If you guys look for him, Emmanuel Zavallos, he's incredible. But he and a couple of other people have actually talked about how truth has three phases. One, it's rejected. Yeah. The second phase is, the people who preach the truth, after it's been rejected, they'll practically try to crucify academically or in any other way. And then three, truth is then finally accepted. And so we're at the point where people are just completely rejecting that the energy work actually works, even though those who, so his scopes are incredible. Maybe I'll do a scope that kind of talks about that. But, truth has three parts. It's, rejection, pretty much crucifixion, in wanting to kill the people who, awesome, the newest, biggest fan, yay. But that's the second part. And then, of course, the third is that, we've known all along that this is truth. The first part is energy work. It's stupid. It's totally kooky. Anybody who does it is so dumb. The second part is we're going to murder you if you don't stop practicing. If you look on the news, there are so many holistic doctors killed off because this stuff works, and it's all about money. And then later down the road, when nothing else is available, they're going to say, obviously energy work has been known for thousands of years to work. Of course it works. We've known all along, kind of thing. And so those who believe it now, we're still in phase one. Those are, darn it, it's a fancy word, and of course I didn't write it down for the scope, but not revivalists, what's the dang word? Anyway, there's a specific word for us who believe it now before the rest of the world. And so, yeah, I don't know if I want to move to phase two either. Unfortunately, it's probably right around the corner. But then so is phase three. And that's where, we're going to be able to heal the world. And so I teach you guys this now so you can begin healing the world one person at a time, one heart at a time, to really understand how this works so that eventually as you get better and better, you can get the body code system, you can look into other modalities and just accumulate everything in helping other people. And so, so you watch The Secret. If you guys haven't watched The Secret, it's incredible. Once again, I made fun of people who believed in The Secret. I'm like, are you kidding me? You think about something, you get it. There was a little, my friend did it. He thought about a donut all day. By the end of the day, his mom brought home donuts. And so he thought that was hilarious. But then we never thought another thing about it. We just stopped thinking about it. We stopped believing it. But I believe The Secret 100% now. It's the weirdest thing. I think deep down I've always thought of it because I have this thing where I'll think of a song or I'll think of a movie earlier in the day, and somebody has either been listening to that song all day or have it stuck in their head, or they watched that movie later on in the day. And I've gotten to the point now where people just don't believe me anymore, especially my family. I'm like, oh my gosh, of course you're watching Hook. I've been saying this line in my head all day, or I've been thinking of this scene all day. They're like, yeah, whatever. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, you always say that. And so I, to this day, don't understand how it all works, but the law of attraction is true. If you want, I'm a 100% believer now. I don't know how all this stuff works still on a, an energetic or, minute, detailed surface, if you will. But I know it works because I've had nothing but success since I started. And so, the law of attraction, if you think positive thoughts all day and you recognize when a negative situation comes that either you have no control over it or, that it's in the past kind of thing and there's nothing you can do to change it. As long as you have these, you think about that and you're able to choose your own emotion, you're going to be such a happier person. All right, it's time to go. I'm sorry. 2 more seconds, okay? I know. And so, look into the Secret if you haven't already. Please watch this. Share this with absolutely everybody. It's true. It works. It works better than it works for those who do that. If you have problem losing weight, there's a reason why. Don't wrap toxic wraps around you to kill off or burn off this fat. It's just going to come back because the underlying cause has not been dealt with. I'm not saying that it works, doesn't work, if you will, but I've worked on people who have actually had toxicities. Colin, I know, you're next. And so, this is going to be very, very interesting then. Because Beth, if nothing else works, that's when you jump into alternative methods of healing. There are underlying imbalances in your body that are keeping you from, getting the job that you want, living up to your full potential, getting that dream career, losing weight, resolving your back pain. I know, I'm almost done. And so ask your body, do I have a trapped emotion that's keeping me from losing weight? Do I have a trapped emotion that's keeping me from finding a lifelong relationship? A trapped emotion that's keeping me from finding the girl of my dreams or the man of my dreams? What's keeping me from living up to my full potential? And as you ask yourself questions on a deeper level, you're going to get these answers. And so, it's all right. The physical pain turned out great. I'm grateful that we did that. So I'll get back in touch with you, Penny, to work on that. But please keep an open mind, open heart. Ask everybody to look into this with an open mind and open heart, and absolutely, miracles will happen. And so, time to feed the boy. I'm so sorry, but I will go. Love you all. Share this with everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.